Apple recently introduced a new member of the iPad Pro lineup. Wow! There is no 9.7-inch iPad Pro. That one is merely the third generation of the iPad Air, or so-called iPad Air 3. If you need some concrete proof, I'll give you proof. Number one, the size of the 9.7-inch iPad Pro is 9.7 inch. Well, firstly, you have to understand how did Apple define the word Pro right next to the iPad Pro 12.9 inch. At the time, Apple didn't call it iPad Pro 12.9 inch. They call it the iPad Pro because of the size. They said they decided to make a smaller version of the iPad Pro because they have sold 200 million units of 9.7-inch iPad. Number two, there is no iPad Pro 9.7-inch. Apple used the components from the iPad Air 2 to assemble the iPad Air 3, or what they call iPad Pro 9.7-inch. Number three, did you know that this particular iPad has only 2 GB of RAM? Whereas the iPad Pro 12.9 inch has 4 GB. So the RAM is on par with the iPad Air 2. The RAM is on par with the iPhone 5 SE. Number 4, size-wise, the 9.7-inch iPad Pro is identical to the second generation of the iPad Air. So due to their geometric similarity, they are 99% identical, except the protruding camera. I'll give you my little secret. Apple failed desperately to sell the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. They haven't sold many units of the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, so they're trying to change their approach to survive. So let me cut to the chase. Well, I think I have given you 4 smoking guns. Albeit you didn't buy them, I don't care, because the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence anyway. The 9.7-inch iPad Pro is merely the third generation of the iPad Air, or the iPad Air 3, with enhanced display and better speaker system, faster processor. This particular iPad is not the ultimate PC replacement. Phil Schiller said on stage that there are 600 million units of outdated, 5 years outdated PC out there. How could you get this figure? How did you define the word outdated or obsolete or outmoded? I think it's quite subjective. Something you think is outdated probably is not outdated for me. And I've come across videos about Dean Koontz, and the guy said he's still using a 2-decade-old computer. The guy who wrote the Game of Thrones, the guy is using the WordStar 4.0 or something on a DOS machine, and the computer is not connected to the internet. The thing is, some things that you think is outdated probably is not outdated for others. So you cannot use your standards to judge the whole world. Night shift. Night shift. Night shift is a part of the IRS 9.3. Night shift feature supposedly shifts the color of your screen to the warmer end of the spectrum, which may help you to sleep better. The original innovator of this technology is a team that created an application called Flux. I have been using this application for a long time, probably like 3-4 years. Apple copied the idea from the developer and shamelessly ditched the original application, which is the Flux application, from the App Store for iOS. It uses the word shamelessly. What is True Tone Display? True Tone Display measures the color temperature of the ambient light around you in the environment, then adjusts the color temperature of the iPad Air 3 screen. Well, I don't know about you, but I may not like it, because for me, I always carry a paper book like this one, and I have to keep changing my seat on a regular basis in order to find the right reflection. But the point is, Phil Schiller said, once you have tried this new True Tone technology, you won't go back to the old technology. Which means that don't buy the iPad Pro 12.9 inch because it lacks this technology. Don't buy the iPhone 6s, don't buy the iPhone 6s Plus, don't buy the iPad Air 2, don't buy the iPhone 5 SE. Because none of those have this particular new True Tone technology. Okay, I'm not saying this is not good. It's a great iPad. I mean, thus far, if you are the present owner of any iPad that is older than the first generation iPad Air, I think this time is not the ultimate upgrade as they said, but it's a decent upgrade. I'm going to give you 6 buying tips because I'm a buying coach, so I'm going to give you my 6 buying tips. Number 1, since the iPad has very limited expandability, it lacks the SD card slot. I strongly recommend that you should buy the top of the line with the 256 gigabytes of internal storage because it's slightly more expensive. I know it's 150, but well, if you can afford to pay $749, I think you can pay $899 because you got 2 times the storage. You got 128 gigabytes times 2. I think it's the best value to go that way. It's the right move. Try not to buy the entry level. Try not to buy the 32 gigabyte, the 128 gigabyte for $749, or be a bit more generous and buy the top of the line for $8.99. Number 2. Actually, it's not a tip, but it's kind of an oversight. It's kind of a precaution. Like, you know what? I've spoken about the 3D touch, which is not the 3D touch. When we touch, there's nothing pops up in the thin air. It's like a hologram, like dinosaurs, turning around in 3D. It's force touch. The iPad Air 3 doesn't have this technology. So if you're a fan of this technology, probably you might try it. You might have tried it on the iPhone 6s or 6s Plus screen. There is no force touch. Number 3, you have it. Well, I know you can say, Mark, I don't have to, but you know what? It's been a controversial thing to say and give a damn. You have to set aside at least $248 for the Apple Pencil and the Apple keyboard in order to fully enjoy the Pro experience. The Apple Pencil is $99, is $100, of course. The Smart Keyboard for the 9.7-inch iPad Pro, or what I call the 3rd generation of the iPad Air, costs $149, $20 less expensive compared to the one for the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. So, apart from the price of the iPad Air 3, you're gonna have to set aside $248, which comes to $8.99 plus $248, and let alone the protective films for the screen, carrying back and stuff like that, Apple Care protection plan. So you're gonna have to be aware of this. The Apple Pencil and the Smart Keyboard are available separately. They are sold separately. For me, the 3rd generation of the iPad Air, it could have been the ultimate PC replacement if it runs on Mac OS X, not the iOS, not the mobile operating system designed for mobile devices, for instance the iPhone. This is very important. For me, it's like the most critical precaution, because suppose, well, I'll give you a concrete example. I am a creative professional. I'm a PC user. I've been using After Effects on PC for probably like 10 years. And I saw the event, and I've come across the phrase, the ultimate PC replacement. I decided to buy the iPad Pro 9.7-inch. I bought it, I got home, I opened the package, I went to the App Store, I went to Adobe site. I couldn't find Adobe After Effects. I'm a writer. I've been writing novels for many years, and I'm currently using the full-fledged version of Microsoft Office on Windows machine, but I couldn't find any Apple's proprietary App Store for iOS devices. How could Apple call this thing the ultimate PC replacement? Can you tell me that? Because it's not. Well, you could have called it if it runs on Mac OS X. Number 5, if you're looking for, well, the thing is, you might already knew. I respect your knowledge, but not all of us are tech experts. If you might need something like a drawing pad or drawing tablet, suppose you have recently bought the Mac Pros or 5K iMac, you might consider buying the Wacom graphic tablets and use it with the Corel Draw or Painter Essential 5 or something. Okay, so try Wacom. The iPad Pro is not the only choice because you can use the full-scale version of SketchUp AutoCAD. Number 6, this product is merely a lame approach, is what I call. The third generation of the iPad Air is not properly assembled because it's not meant to be the iPad Pro. It was a lame approach to survive. It's like, well, they're in the middle of sucking mud and they're trying the nearest hummock because, well, they have been floundering around for a while. This is the reason why it has the protruding cameras on the back. Steve Jobs would never allow a protruding camera or a camera that sticks out. Never. I knew Steve Jobs because I respect him. Bonus tip for you. The iPad is not a camera. The iPad itself is not a camera. It's not meant to be a camera in the traditional sense. The size of 4K videos. 4K videos on the iPad can cost you up to, I know it's fluctuate, can cost you up to 375 megabytes per minute. If you want to make a 1-hour movie, in general, you're gonna need at least 3 hours of raw footage, which can be translated to 67.5 gigabytes solely for the raw footage. 4K files are gigantic, and 4K videos take significant amounts of your room. So in order to be able to accommodate such amounts of 4K videos, you have to buy the mid-range to the top of the line. So, well, probably it's too late to say, let me cut the crap, because it's been crap for like probably 20-30 minutes, but try to buy the top of the line. So $8.99, well, I'm not good with math, but $8.99 plus $2.48, films, AppleCare and shit like that. Well, oh, it's great, it's a good update. Well, if you are, I'm not very excited if I'm using the iPad Air 1. I'm not intrigued by the speaker because I've been using like Dolby speaker on my colleague's Asus tablet for a long time. Better screen! You want me to hang my ball out there? Like, less reflective? The guy might say, well, I can put the protective films on that, the anti-glare. Shit, man, it won't be as sharp as the original one. Well, that's great. 25% greater color gamut. That's the thing. It's brighter. Baloney. Thanks for attention and thanks for watching.